The Whig Tory, the opinion with Michael J. How you guys doing? So listen, now that the United States, as a man-child dictator, did I say that? Yes, I did. Man-child dictator. He did say he'd be a dictator from day one. Now, these tariffs, he's using these tariffs as a way for revenue, as a business model. So now I got to ask you, are these tariffs a boom or a bust? So let's go to the main screen. Let's look at this. Yikes. Yikes. Okay, there we go. So, Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. An act to regulate revenue or to provide revenue to regulate commerce with foreign countries, to encourage the industries of the United States to protect American labor. So what was the Smoot-Hawley Act tariff do? Protect U.S. farmers from foreign competition by increasing tariffs on certain foreign goods. Also purpose to offer protection to other industries from foreign competitors. What was the three negative effects of the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act? It's worth studying because it's blamed for causing the Depression. Yikes! Exasperating the Depression and causing a breakdown in international trade and finance. Wow. So now the two major trade partners, Mexico and Canada, also you're going to put tariffs on the EU, tariffs on everybody else. I'm surprised you put tariffs on your buddy Putin. Isn't that funny? Okay. What did investors fear would happen because of the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act? Investors feared would lead to rising prices. This act, passed in 1930, imposed high tariffs on imported goods, making them more expensive for consumers. Yeah, you guys are finding out tariffs are actually a tax and stuff coming into your country, believe it or not. How did the Smoot-Hawley Act backfire? The goal was to protect American farmers who were most affected by the Great Depression. However, it raised the prices of food and other items. Other countries retaliated with their own respective tariff hikes, forcing global trade to decline by 65%. Yikes. What was the largest tariff in U.S. history? The Smoot-Hawley Act of 1930. Yabba-dabba-doo. Ooh, who would have thought, eh? Now, here you go. Who's this guy? Herbert Hoover. Hey, Herbert, what's happening? So, Smoot Tariff Act came under the presidentship of Herbert Hoover. Raised import duties to protect American business and farmers, adding considerable strain to the international economic climate of the Great Depression. Holy moly. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act raised the United States high tariff rates. In 1922, Congress had already enacted the Fordney-McCumber Act, which was among the most punitive protection of tariffs passed in the country's history, raising the average import tax to some 40%, and which prompted retaliation from European governments but did little to dampen U.S. prosperity. Throughout the 20s, however, as European farmers recovered from World War I and their American counterparts faced intense competition and declining prices because of overproduction, U.S. agricultural interests lobbied the federal government for protection against imports. And Republican candidate for the presidency, Herbert Hoover, promised to increase tariffs on agricultural goods. So there you go. In response to the stock market crash of 1929, however, protectionism gained strength. And though the tariff legislation subsequently passed only by a narrow margin in the Senate, 44 to 42, it passed easily in the House of Representatives. So Smoot-Hawley contributed to the early loss of confidence on Wall Street and signaled U.S. isolationism. You see a pattern? Do you see a trend happening here, kids? Okay. And believe it or not, because of these tariffs, retaliation from foreign governments. Foreign banks began to fail. You know, the U.S. dollar being the currency of the world is going to end soon, the way you're going about it. You're going to have a tough time holding on to that, especially with BRICS. BRICS is outproducing you, outproducing the G7, and then the U.S. pulls a stunt like it's pulling now against its trading partners of over 100 years. You guys are unreal. The guy that saved you was a guy by the name of FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So there you go. Now you know what those friggin' great tariffs do for your country. You keep getting hoodwinked, and you don't get it.
Tonight to forestall your implementation of tariffs tomorrow?
No, nothing. Not right now, no.
Not a negotiating tool?
No, it's not. No, it's a pure economic. We have big deficits with, as you know, with all three of them.
Okay, so what he's saying right here now, the tariffs, it's not a negotiating tool. It's a lever of his government to create revenue for the country. You're doing a 180. Now, you might invade Panama. You're trying to do economic harm to Canada. Trying to also take over Greenland. You know, you become a country that's a threat to other countries now. And you really think this is normal? You're man-child dictator. Who would have thought? Told you he'd be dictator from day one.
And in one case, they're sending massive amounts of fentanyl, killing hundreds of thousands of people a year with the fentanyl. And in the other two cases, they're making it possible for this poison to get in, number one. And number two, we have big deficits.
Big deficits. You really have to wonder, is this guy just plain stupid? He doesn't understand how trade deficits work? So that could be the case. Plus, he also has expansionists. He wants to make his mark in history. Doesn't matter who he hurts. He could work with countries and benefit his country and his name and everybody by a substantial amount more so than taking the route that he's going to take. But he's taken a Hitler type of route to divide, conquer, and steal land. He's become a predator against land, other countries. And you buy into this nonsense. You just allow for it.
It's something we're doing, and we'll possibly very substantially increase it. We're not. We'll see how it is, but it's a lot of money coming to the United States. As you know, we have about a $200 billion deficit with with Canada getting
That's a
close
lie.
to $200 billion. They've treated us very unfairly. And I say, why should we be subsidizing Canada? It's wonderful. I have so many friends in Canada.
What you have, this is the problem with somebody having power that is ignorant, does not know what he speak of. There's one thing that Jesus said, doesn't matter if you read the Bible or not, do unto others as you would do unto yourself. This man would learn something by providing that as an indicator of how he should operate. But he doesn't care. It's all about him, his ego, him making money, and him just looking good. Doesn't matter who he hurts. Suppress the black vote, using the Republican Party now. He's hijacked it, taken it over. Suppress the black vote because he's worried about the black vote. Now they're wiping MLK Day out from the defense. Tried to take the black aviators back in the Second World War out from the history and training of the Defense Department. Wanted to take the people from Gaza, put them in Jordan, put them in Egypt, and just give the land to Israel. He's cleansing. He's doing an ethnic cleansing. What do you think this deportation model is based upon? Absolutely based upon that. So listen a little bit more about these tariffs.
And it's a great place.
Is there concession
But,
you're looking for, sir?
No, we're not looking for a concession. And we'll just see what happens.
See, he's not looking for a concession. He's doing it to hurt people. He's doing it because he wants to take over other countries. The guy's decided he wants to take over other countries. When do you think he's going to invade Panama? The guy's a dangerous guy. You put him in power. SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, gave him immunity, never needed by any other president in the history of the United States of America, but they gave it to him. You've seen how the Ontario Management Board of the Executive Branch cut funding to Medicaid and all these other departments just like that. Meanwhile, we're the guy that's not even in position to do that yet. But this is their plan. This is what they want to do.
We'll see what happens. And with Mexico, it's the same thing. We have a $250 billion deficit, and we have
another
a lot
false
of people
deficit
coming into the border. And now we've largely stopped that, but we've stopped that ourselves. I think they've done a fantastic job. You've seen the numbers; they've dropped to almost zero. But we've suffered under the past administration for years and years. We've suffered with millions of criminals coming into our country. Criminals, people from jails from all over the world. They come through Mexico, and they come through Canada too. A lot of them come through Canada, and a lot of fentanyl.
Less than 1% of your issue comes from Canada, whether in drugs. You think fentanyl, 43 pounds, is a huge issue? Yikes. You got to admit, somebody said something to his hairstylist. It's not as orange as it used to be. I don't think he liked that orange man moniker he was given. So he's changed his hairstyle coloring because of that. So he's using immigration, always been using immigration. That's one of his mantras to get elected, as a fear tool. Drug trade. Meanwhile, this guy was laundering money for Yeltsin Putin, the Colombian drug cartel, in order to move armaments in the black market through the gangs in the United States and around the world and through Africa. And he's talking about drug issues and using tariffs. You know, it's the same amount of effort to be a bad person and make money as it is to be a good person and make money. So this predatory, causing pain and suffering to have an advantage is mind-boggling. This guy's never read a Bible in his life. He's lied to the American people. He's lying every friggin' day, and you buy into it. So are these tariffs a boom or a bust, folks?
Fentanyl comes through Canada, and China makes the fentanyl. China makes the fentanyl, gives it to Mexico, puts it through Canada, puts it through different places, mostly Mexico, but also a lot through Canada. And so all three haven't treated us very well.
All three have not treated us well. So who does he blame? He blames Canada. He blames China, and he tells China to straighten out the Ukraine war with Putin. Go figure. This guy's unbelievable. So you got to ask, is this guy friggin' cuckoo? Is he a man-child? Does he make sense? He's had 6 bankruptcies. Even bankrupt a casino. How many people have bankrupted a casino? Only one guy. A guy by the name of Donald John Trump. Now, so look at the Tariff Act of 1930. Smoot-Hawley Act, Tariff Act. Okay, so, it caused the Great Depression. Beautiful. Great thing to know. Going to set us up for a depression there, United States? Amazing. Absolute amazing. In May 1930, Canada, is this kind of like a deja vu? Canada, the country's most loyal trading partner, retaliated by imposing new tariffs on 16 products that accounted altogether for around 30% of U.S. exports to Canada. Canada later also forged closer economic ties with the British Empire via the British Empire Economic Conference of 1932, while France and Britain protested and developed new trade partners. Do you see a pattern reemerging? And this guy thinks he's doing good things. U.S. average tariff rates, right up to 2016. Best years you had. 1950. Look at the 2010. Where were the tariffs? Zippo. Every time you had high tariffs, started a tariff there in 1828. 1861, Underwood 1913, Smoot-Hawley, then crashed the market. Gats, and bump up, and then there you go. What's that tell you? Said at first the tariffs seemed to be a success, according to historian Robert Sobel. But the global deficiency of the Smoot-Hawley tariff became apparent, and U.S. imports decreased 86%, and exports decreased 61%. Overall world trade decreased by some 66% between 1929 and 1934. That's when you put these friggin' tariffs in place. So, if you haven't learned anything by now, maybe you should do some fact-finding. Do some fact-finding. Use discernment. Like, fact-finding is a good thing. Instead of relying on Fox News and getting bullshit. It really is unbelievable. Now let's take a look at something here. Here it says, we're going to end with this. In the discussion leading to the passage of the North American Free Trade Agreement, that was around 1984, and objections voiced by Ross Perot in the debate of 1993 on the Larry King Show. In April 2009, then Representative Michelle Bachmann made news when, during a speech, she referred to the Smoot-Hawley tariff as the Hoot-Smalley Act and misattributed its signing to Franklin Roosevelt and blamed it for the Great Depression. Oh, my. Now, the act received attention as Donald Trump pledged tariffs during his 2024 campaign. So there you go. Smoot-Hawley was blamed on creating the Depression. It was the worst thing that the states ever did. Trump wants to do it again. And that's where you're at. You want a friggin'... What is this protectionism? What's it doing for you? You wonder why the rest of the world has this thing against the United States of America. I couldn't figure it out when I went over to Europe. Went over to Europe, had to explain, I'm a Canadian. Once I was a Canadian, they were as friendly as all heck. So... You've had a trade relationship with Canada for well over 100 years, and you say you're being taken care of. The Iran deal, Trump just reneged on. Now NAFTA, done in about 1984, North American Free Trade between Mexico, U.S., and Canada. When Trump got into power the first time, he restructured, said it was the best deal he ever made, called it the USMCA, and now he says he's been taken advantage of. Here's a guy, doesn't honor agreements, is an unreliable person to deal with, and if you think that's a good deal maker, I don't know. So let me know. Use your own discernment. If you got a guy, you make a deal and you can't, he keeps changing, is he a good deal maker or not? Boom or bust? These tariffs, boom or bust? What do you think, folks? The boom or the bust? What's it going to be? Let us know in chat. Love and peace to everyone. Talk to you all soon. Thanks for watching. Post in the comments section. Thanks, love, and peace.